Hello and welcome to the course simply known as Jump. I'm Swanshine97 and today, August 28th, year of our Lord 2020, 25 competitors have come to prove their worth against an unforgiving 4-stage course. All of them aim for glory, some higher than others, but can any of them stand out from the pack? There are many courses out there, but none quite like this one. So ladies and gentlemen, let's jump. The first stage will consist of 6 obstacles. The first one being the rolling hill, the second one being the giant swing, and then after the giant swing comes the infamous, the hated, the dreaded catapult. And I cannot wait for you to see it. But then after the catapult, if they manage to defeat those 3 obstacles, they will face the tilting tables, which will test much more than just simple jumping ability, also intelligence and balance. After that is an obstacle that was designed by my girlfriend, the paddle steps. I guess we're skipping that. After that is the speed bars. Simple name. By that time you're running low on time and it can be pretty difficult to get through those skinny little jumps. So let's see if anyone has what it takes to beat all of that in only a minute and a half. First up, we have Wunstis. This man briefly appeared in Rando Warrior, which was streamed recently. He didn't manage to clear the first stage, and it looks like he's not clearing it here either. Next up, we have Crown Ferret 19. A well-known name, but perhaps only to those who follow a bit more closely. Previously known as Irish, he was active on Halo Reach and actually had a couple clears back in the day, I believe. And he took a 7 or 8 year long hiatus, and then surprisingly came back in Halo 5. Now he runs his own course called Irish Warrior, and he competes on everybody's course, and he's real enthusiastic about it. So let's see how far into the stage he can get today. Onto the giant swing and handles it pretty solidly. Now he's onto the catapult. This is going to be by far his biggest test. And he is onto it. Irish is handling this catapult pretty well, and he's onto the tilting tables with a minute to spare. Irish is making short work of the stage. Is he going to be able to beat the tilting tables, one of the harder obstacles on the course? And he just barely gets up there. Now Irish is onto the paddle steps. This is kind of unforeseen, seeing someone who isn't really known for doing so well kind of get so far onto the course. If he can beat these, he has a huge chance of getting onto the second stage, and Irish lands the 4th one, and he is on to the last obstacle. Can Irish beat this obstacle? He has 30 seconds left. Can he make it through? He can take his time here. He doesn't have to work too hard. He just has to make sure he's getting these jumps. He just has to line everything up, and he is lining it up still. And Irish is on to the second stage with 5 seconds left. What an unbelievable run. I don't think any of us expected Irish, of all people, to be the first clear here. I guess that's why he got number 2, but against all odds, Irish came and put everybody on notice. This was a very clean run. I mean, not a lot was wrong with this run, perhaps a bit of a slow pace, but Irish played this very well. Handled the catapult and the paddle steps like an old pro. You can watch his jumps. He knows exactly where he's jumping from. He knows where exactly where he wants to jump to. Timing everything perfectly. This course was no match for Irish today, and that's a big surprise coming from somebody who's not too talked about in the jumping community. Well, congrats to Irish, and maybe we can get a couple more surprise clears along the way, with that one being our first. We'll see him on stage 2. Next up is Extra Quispy. He's definitely a no-name, but he's looking to prove himself today on this course. Onto the giant swing, and doesn't get a sprint, fails the jump. That is very unfortunate. Next up, we have Sonic Fan 10193, of course, the host of Ninjas of Halo. You can check that out on his YouTube channel. And he's also a very enthusiastic jumper, loves competing on people's courses, loves trying to do as good as he can. And he is already onto the giant swing, handling this course pretty well. Sonic, he's one of the favorites to actually get deeper into the stage. Oh, Sonic fails! What happened? You look at the replay here, he hits the launch pad, and then he just flies straight through the net, right into the water. That's definitely a way to fail. But no time to cry over Sonic. We have Kill 'em a Noodle up next. This guy, he's a pretty recent addition to the jumping community. He's only competed in a couple tournaments, but he has put up some runs. He has had some success in that short amount of time. Silent Man, who talks with only his actions, can Kill 'em a Noodle, make it onto the second stage to join Irish. You just watch Sonic Fan fly straight through the cargo net on the catapult. Will Kill 'em a Noodle make a similar mistake? Or can Kill 'em a Noodle beat the catapult? He had some trouble with it in practice, but Kill 'em a Noodle very cleanly lands on it, and he jumps, hits his head, but he makes it through. He knows what he's doing. Kinda roughly gets through the catapult, but he's onto the tilting tables with a little under a minute left. He's on a slower pace than Irish was. The tilting tables can be tricky, and Kill 'em a Noodle handles it very well. He's got 49 seconds onto the paddle steps, and he's onto the first, onto the second. Just barely lands on that. A save jump is all that keeps him on. In the third, a desperate save jump. He is holding on to this course with just the whites of his knuckles, and he's on to the speed bars with only 30 seconds left. He's gonna want to be a little bit faster than he's being, but he's having these save jumps. He's taking his time. Will it pay off for him? And save jumping every single bar, but quickly making the dismount, and he is going to clear with about 13 seconds left. That was another out of nowhere run. Someone who we didn't really expect to be making a lot of noise has come up and cranked it up to the max volume. Kill 'em a Noodle here handled the catapult just like an old pro, despite looking a little bit strange on it. He clearly knew what he was doing, and on the tilting tables, he handles that very well, gets a nice jump off of that, but on the paddle steps is where he struggled the most, but he progressed nonetheless and is now on stage 2. Next up we have 3ND Hitman. He is a friend of Extra Quispy, and he's a bit of a showboater, but cannot stay on the giant swing. And next up, we have another competitor who took a bit of a break for a while. Someone who's very known and very well liked by everybody in the community. Someone who can be a bit infamous at times. Someone who likes to troll around. This is Siren, here with his best buddy Snaz. Siren is making some sort of show up there at the starting platform. He is our 7th runner and one of the more likely to clear in the first half of the run order. Can Siren live up to his potential, live up to his expectation, and clear the first stage? He's on to the first obstacle, and very easily and very quickly bests it onto the giant swing, and we'll just ignore that. Beats the giant swing very, very easily. Onto the catapult. What strategy is he going to take here? He takes the standard strategy and does not get the airtime that you need to land on the cargo net. And that is our second, I believe, catapult fail. Next we have Wood Artifact 216. He had a lot of fun on this course. It took a long time to get him to actually do a run. He bit of a joker here. Fun guy though. Loves to talk about cars and loves Trump jokes. But he does not love the giant swing. He is down. Next up is Nesmir, a man with a mysterious gamer tag and an even more mysterious past. He just barely makes it onto the second obstacle. He people are having issues with that jump now, apparently. And the giant swing is too much for Nesmire. However you say it. Next up, we have Philly Season. Yet another person coming off of a hiatus. This is our third of the tournament of people who love to not show up for a long time. Previously known as King Sparkety, Philly Season made his name in Spartan Sasuke 5 when he cleared the first stage. The only time he has ever done so. He has come close a few times, but the only time he ever managed to clear first stage was in Spartan Sasuke 5, which was a very long time ago now. So the question here is, can Philly Season actually do better? He goes through like Sonic did, but he saves it, and he's on to the tilting tables. Can he beat this next obstacle and get onto the second stage? This would be huge for him if he could. He lands on the outer ring of it. He's timing it. He goes up, and he doesn't make it up! Philly Season, you see, he just doesn't wait for it to tilt up high enough, and then he gets that jump, and it's just not enough. He's about a foot short on that. He just doesn't quite make it, and he falls into the water with all of his sorrow and regret with him. Next up, we have Jono, very strange fellow. He just barely clears the first obstacle. All the randos are having issues with that. He's onto the giant swing. Can he be the first rando to beat this? And he is not. He fails it. Alright. Next up, we have Hardcase 94. If he would like to attend the starting platform. Hardcase 94. He, big fan of Aborigines Warrior. He loves doing these maps, but he failed the giant swing. The transition came in a bit early, but sorry, Hardcase. Next up is Joey Davis 808, someone who I do expect to clear. He practiced a whole bunch for this tournament. He was looking good in practice, very solid. I don't think there's any obstacle on this course that should be able to stop him. And Joey Davis is quickly onto the catapult. He hits the launch pad and save jumps. He save jumps twice, 3 times, and he just barely manages to save it on the catapult. But he is through the catapult. He is doing good, and he's onto the tilting tables. He had very little issues with this in practice, so I assume that he's going to beat it quite easily, just as other people have. But it's getting a little bit floppy, a little bit lopsided, and he waits way too long, gets shot up straight into the air. That's not how you want to do that, Joey Davis. Alright, next up we have a competitor who hasn't competed since Ultimate Warrior 2. This is an old friend of mine, Goblin C4, and he's on to the rolling steps with a bit of lag, and he beats them, no problem. A little 360 there for show for the ladies, and he's on to the giant swing, clears it, no problems here for Goblin C4. Onto the catapult. He has some sort of strange strategy, and oh my god, he flies up into the air at least 40 feet, lands straight in front of the tilting tables. That was the most amazing thing I've ever seen on that obstacle. Lands right on the edge of the tilting tables, takes an extra jump at it, and Goblin C4 coming out of nowhere. He failed the first stage in Ultimate Warrior 2, but here Goblin C4 is onto the pallet steps, and he's off! Goblin C4, after an amazing run, a little bit of showboating here and there, a lot of style, is out on an obstacle that you would not expect him to be off on. And now we're on to mid superset 9051, and he fails the first obstacle. The only one to do so far. Next up, we have Petrillo Fam 4. Petrillo is kind of an intense competitor. He takes jumping very seriously, and he practices very hard for every tournament he competes in. To varying success, he has had good success, and he has had bad runs. But can he get past the catapult? It flings him onto the launch pad. He doesn't get near enough bounce on it, and he's in the water. Next up is Cheese, another host of a course for Cheese Warrior. He uploaded a video recently. If I missed any other course hosts. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I just forgot. Anyway, Cheeses threw the giant swing onto the catapult. This has been the fails on the catapult have been starting to pile up, and Cheese gets a save jump. Can he save it? 2 save jumps, and he's off. Cheese is in the water. He cannot save it on the catapult. Next up, we have RPG 445. The host of Spartan Sasuke, obviously, someone who we expect to do very well on the course here today. He predicted himself to make stage 3, so we will see if his prediction comes true today. Onto the giant swing, looking very smooth. Careful not to be misplaced on there. Onto the catapult very quickly, and he is onto the top of it. He's going to take the head slide, saving some time, and he's onto the tilting tables. Now, we've seen 2 people fail this so far, so can Rog be the next one to clear it, or is he going to be the next one to fail it? And he does an extra jump, times it perfectly, a beautiful jump from Rog. He's onto the paddle steps, and onto the second one, making these very well, some save jumps just for safety, but he's looking good. Maybe a little bit low on them, his angle is a little bit wide, but Rog is onto the speed bars. Now, can Rog beat this obstacle and make it on to stage 2? He has a lot of time left, so he doesn't have to rush at all. And Rog is on the last one, and he makes the dismount, and he lands it, and Rog is going to clear with 19 seconds left on the clock. A beautiful run from Rog. Very well done. He knew exactly what he had to do, and he executed. All these obstacles were no match for the host of Spartan Sasuke, and we will see what he has to bring on stage 2, as he is now our 3rd clear on the day. Alright, next up we have the bad boy of Halo jumping himself, the mysterious wanderer from the outer purple lands, Mr. Snozberries. He's a very experienced jumper of Halo Ninja Warrior 9 fame, of course making the final stage in that tournament, and he's had several good runs since then on various courses, but never quite reaching that sort of success. Peaked very early. But he is by far one of the most experienced and one of the most combat ready, seasoned competitors out there. So I don't think that there's any sort of obstacle you could really throw at Snoz that he wouldn't be ready for, and he's proving that as he's already onto the tilting tables, lands on the very edge of it, and times it a little bit late and gets really high up on it, but Snoz is already onto the paddle steps. He's very solid on these, landing exactly where he wants to, not too far down, not too far to the side or anything. Snoz is very solid on this. Definitely put some preparation into this tournament, and he's onto the speed bars with 35 seconds left. A very good pace for him. A little quick jump first and then a save jump, and he's on to the last of the speed bars. Can we get a Snoz clear here? He's lining it up. He was worried about this jump. He says it's very sketchy. Can Snoz do it? And a big save jump, and Snoz clears the first stage with 15 seconds left on the clock. Another surprise clear from someone who has been long overdue for some stage 1 success. Snoz handled the catapult very easily, landing up to the top of it, and though he timed the tilting tables pretty late and got a pretty big little boost off of it, he made it to the speed bars with enough time that he could take it at any pace that he wanted. And now Snoz, the man, the myth, the legend with the big save jumps, is going on to stage 2 as our 4th clear. Alright, and after Snoz we have Flamosaurus, another experienced competitor, not quite as much so though. This is a guy who's been competing since early Halo 5, who has put up some great runs on different courses, some deep stage 3s on some notable courses. And Flame is at the start line and onto the first obstacle. Very easily handles that first obstacle, gliding through it very quickly. And onto the giant swing, no problems there. Now he's onto the biggest test on the stage, the catapult. Can Flame handle this? He doesn't get enough height and he's off. But next up we have Atlantic Champ, a jumper who is in the hottest streak of his career right now. Recently making it to the final stage in Spartan Sasuke 19, making it look pretty easy, and everything he's competed in since then he's made look pretty easy. So can Atlantic continue that success here on Jump Tournament 1? Definitely one of the favorites to get first place. It would be nice to see him succeed on this course as pandemonium breaks out on the starting platform. Not sure what all's going on over here. Well, this is nice. What a nice moment. I'm not sure what he's trying to accomplish. But Atlantic Champ is doing donuts on the starting platform. Not doing his run. And he's on to do his run. Okay. Eventually. And he's off. 1.5 minutes. Can Atlantic Champ clear the first stage? I can't say many people are having much of a doubt about him clearing, but stranger things have happened. Alright, he's onto the catapult. How will he handle this? He hits the launch pad way at the end and bounces way up in the air, all the way up to the top, jumps into the head slide. He saved a good bit of time there, about 5 seconds were saved. And he's onto the tilting tables, and he's sprinting through it with ease, lands on the end of it, times it very nicely, and gets up it very quickly. He's saving a lot of time here, and on the paddle steps, he is not even stopping. He is blitzing through this. He is going for a fast time. He smells blood in the water, and he's going for the kill. He's onto the speed bars, quick jumps the first one, quick jumps the second one, and finally a save jump on the third one. He doesn't even take time to line it up, he just jumps for it, and Atlantic has cleared with 30 seconds left on the clock. What a crazy run. He just blitzed through this and just beat the hell out of it. Especially the second half after the catapult, he really just turned on the juice, and on the paddle steps he was on an unbelievable pace. I don't think I've ever seen someone do it that fearlessly before, barely clipping the launch pad on the catapult. Great run out of Atlantic Champ, and one that we hope that the next competitors will be able to replicate. Next up, we have Strafe Helix, a very successful competitor, although at times inconsistent. Strafe is one of the favorites to do good on the course, just from his practice alone. That's why he has such a high number, and we're hoping that he can really make a mark on Jump Tournament 1. He's onto the catapult, and straight into the head slide. That's going to save him a ton of time. Saved him about 8 seconds ahead of the par time. And he's onto the tilting tables. How's he going to handle this? Is he going to take it speedy like Atlantic? He lands on the outside, and he's straight up it. Vulcan going at a blistering pace. Is he going to continue the speed here on the paddle steps, or is he going to slow down? And it looks like he's going to slow down a bit with some nice little save jumps just to play it safe. Strafe is not going for the fastest time, he's just going for the clear. And he's onto the speed bars with 39 seconds left, about the same pace that Atlantic was on. And he save jumps. He's taking his time now, just making sure that he's not slipping anything up. Lines up for the dismount, and he's onto the finishing platform, and Vulcan, or Strafe Helix, has cleared with 21 seconds left, the second fastest time so far. Very easily handled the catapult, flew right up it, right over the net, right into the head slide. That's one of the fastest ways to do it, as well as, I suppose, goblins. But he just tackled the stage very quickly, and before you know it, we are on to Weapon Mat. One of the favorites to do well on this course. He got a top 3 spot because of the confidence that people have in him to succeed. He's been on a tear through the minor league courses lately, getting these crazy results in all of them. But his record as of late on major courses is not what it once was. He used to be a guaranteed clear, and after a lot of time off, after he disappeared for a few years. Oh my god, Weapon Mat just flew off the side of the course. He didn't even get a shot to land on it. Once he hit that launch pad, it launched him crooked. He hit the net at an angle and launched up to the side. You can see here he has a bit of a weird technique going on. It's hard to explain, but because of that, he hits the very top of it, hits the net at an angle, flies off. He doesn't even have a chance to save it. He's just straight off onto the rocks. That's a 1 in a million fail there from Weapon Mat, and a very unlucky one at that. And already we are on to the 24th runner, Hunter Unit 751, of course, known for his unbelievable streak on Halo Ninja Warrior, where he cleared the first stage 19 times in a row. Can he establish a streak here? Can he come out of the gate and be one of the best guys from the ground level? We'll see. On to the giant swing. Not going at a blistering pace, just kind of jaunting along. He's onto the catapult. Hits the switch. Oh, flies up straight in the air. He's got a weird technique going on here. The same thing that Goblin had, where he hits the switch and he jumps. And is it going to help him? He hits it and he just falls straight down. Hunter Unit 751, a shocking failure. Someone we thought was a lock to clear the first stage. His technique betrays him. This 50-50 technique he's decided to use launches him straight into the net with no chance to save it with a save jump. And just like that, Hunter Unit 751 is in the water with the likes of everyone else who didn't clear. And now for our final stage 1 attempt, DHG Fireball. By far the favorite to get first place in this tournament. By far the favorite to make it all the way to the final there in the background. Can he make it happen? It's just going to be a matter of execution, because we know he has it in him. He's made the final stage on multiple courses. He has an illustrious record. Of course, the grand champion of Halo Ninja Warrior. A very crazy title to say out loud, honestly. Just the grand champion of Halo Ninja Warrior. One of only 3 to do so. It's crazy. But Fireball is already past the catapult, about 4 seconds ahead of par. And he's onto the tilting tables. Oh, teleports. I think that might be cheating. Messes up his technique a little bit. He's going to have to get another jump to get the angle going. And times it perfectly. Fireball's onto the paddle steps, just as anticipated. No one ever really believed this stage would be much of a challenge for him. But then again, it was a challenge for Hunter Unit. But he's through the paddle steps effectively onto the speed bars with about 32 seconds left. Quick jumps the first one, a nice little save jump onto the third one, and not even lining it up, he is going to clear it with 20 seconds left, third best time of the evening. So that wraps up stage 1 with Fireball easily handling the first stage, never looking like he was in any sort of danger. And just like that, we have 7 clears on to stage 2. Next up, our 7 competitors that cleared the first stage are going to be facing the second stage. There will be 6 obstacles they have to face, including the X-Tilt, the time travel, and then after the time travel, they'll go on to a classic jumping obstacle, the salmon ladder, followed by the soccer swing. And after they manage to defeat these two obstacles, they will head on into the rolling ball vault. Now, the ball vault is probably the toughest obstacle on the stage, and it will be the real make or break to see if anybody can beat it. Now, if they make it here in a decent amount of time, then they will have a chance to cross the radio wave. After crossing the radio wave, they will make it on into the second stage, but only if they hit that buzzer within a minute and 10 seconds. Can any of them beat it? Let's go and see. Alright, here we are on stage 2. Our first competitor was a big shock clearing the first stage, coming out of nowhere. No one believed in him, but he believed in himself and he triumphed over it. Crown Ferret 19, making his debut back in the early days of Ninja Warrior of Halo and making his first splash in the 6th tournament. He most recently cleared the first stage in Spartan Sasuke 19. He runs his own course and he's been trying to make a bigger imprint on Halo jumping in general. And this is a big chance for him to do so. Irish has never cleared a second stage on any tournament. So, will it be more of the same here today for Irish? Or will he finally make stage 3? If he wants to get that far, it's going to be a tough road ahead of him. He's only going to have a minute and 10 seconds. And he's on to the X tilt. And he's through it. On to the time travel. He had some trouble with this in practice. Tough obstacle. And he is through it. Maybe just barely. On to the salmon ladder. Looks like he has this technique down. And he is climbing it slightly, kind of slowly, but he's making it up. And he resets the swing. He's on to the swing. Can he get around in time? He gets around. Onto the ball. Oh my god, is Irish gonna put us all on notice? This is by far the toughest obstacle on the stage. So let's see if he can handle this. Irish takes the jump and he sticks it directly. Irish is on to the radio wave with 25 seconds to spare. Is Irish gonna get his first stage 3 attempt of all time? This is huge for Irish. He has never made a mark like this, and you just know that he's losing his mind right now. And he is on to the 3rd stage with 6 seconds left, and just unbelievable, just an unbelievable run by Irish. Just what a tournament. This is absolutely unheard of by him. His close friend Hunter Unit, who's very fond of Irish, just celebrating there with him as they die in the water. But Crown Ferret 19, Irish 1600, whatever the numbers were, just this is huge for him. Beautifully through the time travel, and just everything he did was just clean. If not a little bit slow, but this was what made or break it. Watch his technique here. See how he stays on the back of the ball, trying to control it best he can. And then right as he's about to make the jump, he goes to the forward of it, and then perfectly maneuvers in midair to land directly on top of it. Pinpoint accuracy, which is something I never thought I would have saw out of a jumper like Irish. But he's on to the 3rd stage. Now, can the next runner do the same thing? Next up is Killamanoodle. He cleared stage 1 pretty handily. Someone who's a bit of an unknown, and it's kind of exciting to watch someone come out of nowhere and do these runs. He wasn't even going to compete in the tournament. He only got a spot because somebody else bailed. So a walk-on got a spot out of luck, and then the next person, and managed to make it to the next stage, which is just unbelievable. And Killamanoodle's on to the ball roll. We've had some technical difficulties, I suppose. He did fail that obstacle. I apologize for the issues. Next up, we have RPG 445, the host of Spartan Sasuke. He is someone who he's a good jumper. He's just been inconsistent before, But if he could make a stage 3 here, that would be huge for him, as stage 3s are always huge for anyone. Onto the swing with good amount of time. And he is through onto the ball roll. Now, can he make the vault? That's the trick. He's a little bit too far on the front. He's a little bit out of control, and he doesn't quite get the distance. Rog comes up short. Oh, and that's unfortunate for Rog. And our next competitor here, slightly out of order, is Atlantic Champ. Definitely a big pick to make stage 3. Someone we're all excited to see run this stage. Someone we all believe in very much. Of course, so far the big test is going to be that ball roll, as we already have 2 fails on it. Of course, we do have 1 clear. Can Atlantic be the next? He definitely has what it takes. Brings over the time travel onto the salmon ladder. This is a tough obstacle if you're not careful. He doesn't make the first one. He springs up it again, springs the last one, and he's on top of it onto the swing, and he gets around it nicely, makes the jump, lands right on the ball with great time to spare. But can he make this jump? He shoots the fucking ball, and he's in the water. Atlantic Champ, a horrible technique. I don't know what he was thinking. He just sabotaged any chance he had of beating that obstacle. An absolute blunder. A complete blockheaded blunder. But next up, we have Snoz, who may be a bit of a surprise after the drought he's had on stage 1s. Snoz cleared stage 1 with in very impressive fashion. Of course, we've seen him clear in impressive fashion before, as you see here from Halo Ninja Warrior 9 on the 3rd stage, where he beasted that course. Snoz is on to jump stage 2. It'll be exciting to see what he can do, because we know that he has the skill to make stage 3. If Snoz makes stage 3 here, it'll be only his 2nd stage 3 of all time. Over the course of, what, a 7-year career? Maybe longer? I'm not sure exactly how long, but it's been a long time since Snoz has been on stage 3. And if he could clear here, that would be huge. But he falls down, and he's looking a little shaky. He was doing very well in practice. He's onto the swing, another obstacle he struggled with. He jumps too early, and Snoz doesn't make it across. That's a heartbreaker. He had it, but he just timed it way too early. That's unfortunate for Snoz. But we're on to Strafe Helix. He's playing around on the Swantron 97 sign over there. Please stay off the decoration. A lot of shenanigans going on here, and Vulcan is ready to go. He is on to the X tilt with 1 minute and 10 seconds on the clock. Now, Vulcan is a very capable competitor, especially on stage 2s. I've seen him do a lot of great stage 2 runs, and he's already onto the salmon ladder just as 1 minute elapses. And he handles the salmon ladder very easily. No springs and no tricks. Vulcan just beat those jumps very simply. Off the left side of the swing, he's onto the ball with 44 seconds left. Now, here's the big trick. He's staying on the back of it. He does a vault. Eddie makes it. A risky technique from Vulcan, but he makes it across. 31 seconds on the clock as he's inching across the radio wave, taking it slow, not wanting to make a mistake. And Vulcan is going to be on stage 3. Strafe Helix with a monumental run on stage 2. Just really cleaning it up out there. You see on the salmon ladder, he just handled it with no problems at all. Knew exactly what he was doing. You can tell that he is prepared for this course. You can tell that he's done his homework. And even with that risky technique, he did enough practice with it where he could use it effectively. And that is going to get Strafe on to stage 3. Next up, we have DHG Fireball. Of course, the favorite in this tournament, number 25. The one we think that is the most dangerous to the course. And he is through the time travel with 1 minute and a minute. And onto the salmon ladder. It looks like he's springing these, and he's through it very quickly. Onto the ball swing. He's on it, goes around the right side, cuts it effectively, and he's onto the ball. Can Fireball be our 3rd clear of the tournament? He's the last one standing on stage 2. Well, The last one remaining, and he's across the vault. And Fireball with 35 seconds is onto the radio wave, taking these with some crouch walks, and he is through with 26 seconds on the clock. A very good run from Fireball, very quick and very efficient. You see on the ball vault, probably the most solid that we've seen. Quick jump to right across it. No issues there, very precise. And now we have 3 remaining to face. Next up, our 3 stage 2 clears will be going up against stage 3. This dreaded stage is going to be way harder than anything they've faced before, and 7 obstacles will stand between them and the final, including the tri-slide, a simple head slide obstacle where you have to stay straight or you'll fly off the edge. Then the Sidewinder, a strange test of balance that will throw them off their game if they're not careful. And then after that, we have another classic jumping obstacle, the Cliffhanger. However, this is the classic 3-ledged even version. But then after the Cliffhanger, they'll have their test on Mongoose until the last obstacle, where the first one will be, I apparently named this obstacle the Flip-Flop, so that's what we're dealing with. And then after they manage to defeat the Flip-Flop, they'll face the Demon Bridge, which is a very difficult test of keeping your wheels exactly where they need to be. After the Demon Bridge, then they will face the Sky Shooter. That, I didn't have to look. They will face the Sky Shooter, which is just a simple obstacle about managing your speed and your trajectory. But then the final obstacle, the final test they'll face until that final stage in the background is the pegboard. Each of these jumps get a little bit harder as you go along, and there's not a lot to hold on to there. And to top it all off, when you get to the end, you have to face this final jump. And if you make that jump, then you're on to the final stage and on to your shot at glory. Can any of them do this? We'll see. Alright, first up on stage 3, we have the underdog himself, Crowned Ferret 19. His very first stage 3 attempt ever. He's going to be challenged more than he ever could have imagined. And Hunter Unit carrying him to the start line. This is going to be a very interesting run to watch because while Irish is inexperienced on stage 3, he is an experienced jumper and he does have the skill to make it to stage 3. So it's going to be interesting to see how far he gets. And he's the first to attempt the tri-slide. Some weird crouching shenanigans going on here. And he's ready. Onto the tri-slide. Defeats it very, very easily. And he's onto the Sidewinder. Now this is a tricky one. He's going to want to hope for a bit of luck here, but he doesn't get it. The Sidewinder falls down and it is rocking back and forth. It's kind of hard to see from this angle, but it's rocking back and forth on him, which is going to make jumping from it and onto it hard. But Irish gets to the third bit, and he's lining up this jump. He's got to jump off of this pole onto the second Sidewinder. Can he do it? He's lining it up again. He's feeling extremely nervous about it. And he's getting ready. He's about to make the jump. He goes for it. And he's off! Irish, after this crazy Cinderella run, after this crazy underdog performance where he made it all the way to stage 3, is off on the Sidewinder. He landed on it. All he had to do was save jump. But he just didn't have it today. That was still a great run by Irish. And now we're on to Strafe Helix, of course, of Spartan Sasuke 7 fame, where he made the final stage. He's had a lot of great runs since then, but that's the one where he first burst onto the scene. Strafe is great on stage 3s. When he makes stage 3s, he very often makes it deep into it. So if there's a threat to this stage 3, it's gonna be Strafe Helix. He's on through the tri-slide. No problem. Onto the Sidewinder. Up onto the first one, and he lands. Oh, a big rock there. Now, is it gonna be rocking back and forth the way it was for Irish? it doesn't appear that it is, so Vulcan's getting off easy this time, and he gets onto the second Sidewinder, something that Irish could not do. And now he's onto the cliffhanger, the very first to ever attempt it. Can he beat it though? That's the big question. He lines up for what seems like forever, and he gets onto the first ledge just barely and saves it, and he's standing on the ledge. Onto the second one, he's gonna quick jump it, and Vulcan is through the cliffhanger quickly onto the mongoose. He's gonna be facing the flip-flop. This is the most difficult obstacle on the stage by far. If he can beat this, then he really has a shot at making the final stage. Could we have this happen in the very first tournament? Could Strafe Helix be the guy to make the final already? He's up the first bit. Inches across the top. Now this is where it gets tricky. Coming down here, you have to really manage your momentum. There are two difficult parts of this obstacle, and this is the first one. Very slowly down it, keeping his back wheels on there. Oh my god, he's falling off! But he's not yet. Strafe is saving it. Can he keep on there? He's kind of awkwardly shuffling across, and just very slowly, bit by bit, and he's got his front wheels onto the track, and he is up onto the second part. This is the second hardest part, getting across this, because you have to do the same thing he did down there. He's just shimmying across with just his front wheels on there. This is very precarious. This could get a little bit messy when he gets back onto here. Can he do it though? Oh my god! Oh my god, he's coming off! He's coming off! But he saves it. Strafe is okay. Now can he just dismount? This is an unbelievable run. Who would have ever thought that he would make it this far in the very first tournament? He takes a moment to rest. He just suffered through something a bit traumatic, but here's going to be another difficult bit, is getting off of this. He's got to make a backwards 90-degree turn. Not an easy thing to do. But he's hanging off of it and just kind of... He's mastering that awkward shuffle a little bit. He's doing the best he can. Oh my gosh. He is scaring the hell out of me on this obstacle. Just falling off every couple seconds, but managing to save it. And now he's onto the Devil Bridge. This is going to be a really tough one. You have to keep your tires exactly where they need to be. But you can rest assured that Strafe has put in the practice and he knows what he's doing. He's gently up onto the top of it. Now he's going to have to really manage his momentum here to not get janked off. Oh, a couple slight adjustments, and he's onto the track, very slowly inching across, and he's through. Now he is onto the Sky Shooter. Can Strafe beat this obstacle? No one has ever even seen this far into the stage, and he's already beating all these obstacles. And he goes up the ramp, and he saves it. Oh, almost slides off, but he keeps it. Now the second challenge is going to be landing on that target after the obstacle. You got to get enough speed, and he's up. And he lands it just barely, almost flies right off. Now he's got to hop off to do the last obstacle as a jumping section. This is unbelievable, seeing someone already make it here to the pegboard. But here Strafe is. These are all going to be very difficult jumps that you have to take each one just as seriously as the last. You cannot make a single mistake or you will slip off. These are curved edges that do not want to hold your feet. But Strafe is on to the second, a save jump. We're going to be seeing a lot of save jumps. You have to be extremely careful on this extremely precarious obstacle. But he's on to the third with no problem. This is an unbelievable run from Strafe. He smells the final stage right now. He's just got to get through it. On to the fourth. He's good. On to the fifth. Alright, now this next jump is going to be the hardest so far. And then after that is even harder. Big upward jump, and he saves it. Now this is going to be the hardest one. You're going to be falling so fast that you might just shoot right off of it. He's taking a moment to compose himself. And he goes for it. Oh, a big save jump, and Strafe, he's on the ledge. I did not think he had that. That was a huge save jump. Oh my god. And he's on to the next one. If he could do all of those, it looks like he's going to have the skill to make it to the final jump. just very slowly, making sure not to rush any of these jumps. Just 2 more jumps. And then the final jump. Oh, almost falls off. Vulcan is giving me a heart attack. Alright. He's on to the last jump. This is the final jump before you get to the final. This is a big deal. What strategy is he going to use here? How is he going to do this? Can Vulcan make this jump? This is the toughest jump he's faced against so far. And he uses a strange strategy. He tries to gain momentum by running down the bar, but he can't get the jump off in time, and he just falls in the water. That's a heartbreak for Vulcan. That is just heartbreaking to be that close and not get to go to the final. It's after so many close calls on the stage that he managed to save. Getting through the cliffhanger, getting through the flip-flop after almost falling off it about 700 times. Forging a path through all these new obstacles only to come up short here by trying to use a gimmicky technique. It seems unlike Vulcan, but that's what he did, and now he has failed. Now we're on to our final runner, the last man standing of Jump Tournament 1. Could this man make history in the very first tournament? The stakes have already been raised with Vulcan's run, and Fireball is only looking to double the effort. He knows that he can't go out early. He knows that he has to make each of these jumps last. He knows that this run that he's doing has to be something great. He's very quickly through the Sidewinder, wasting no time into the cliffhanger. Easily saves the first ledge, and he quick jumps, and he's off of the cliffhanger. He's onto the flip-flop. Now, Vulcan almost failed this multiple times but managed to get through. I've seen Fireball beat this obstacle in practice. Can he beat it here on his run where it matters the most? That's the question. Now, he uses the incline to straighten out his wheels. He's going to take this one slowly, most likely. Inches up it very slowly, and he's across the first bit. He's on down to the second crossing, taking it very slowly, making sure to not make the same mistakes Vulcan made, but his back wheels come off. This is very dangerous. This is not where Fireball wants to be, but he recovers, and he's up onto the upper section. This is where Vulcan really almost lost it, and Fireball, oh no, he gets his front wheels over. That's not good. Overcorrecting is a real danger right now, and it puts Fireball in the water. Fireball is no more. After 2 amazing stage 3 runs in a row, it wasn't enough to make the final. Both Strafe Helix and Fireball ended up in the water and didn't get a shot at the tower this time. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait until Tournament 2 to see how that turns out. If you're watching this, then Tournament 2 runs have started. So I hope that everybody shows up. I hope that everybody gives it their best shot. Thank you very much.